The biopsy used for epidermal nerve fiber density testing is essentially just a punch biopsy of skin. There are two essential differences with this punch as opposed to other biopsies of skin. One being that we're a little more gentle with this punch than we would ever want to be with a typical biopsy for anatomic pathology. The second is that instead of going into formalin fixative, we put this in a different fixative called Zamboni's fixative. Formalin fixative tends to block the antigen binding sites and precludes us from doing the test. So it actually ruins the biopsy for epidermal nerve fiber density testing. So instead, in your shipping kit, you'll get 3 vials. Those vials will be number 1, Zamboni's fixative, number 2, a phosphate buffer, and number 3, cryoprotectant. The biopsy first goes in Zamboni's fixative. What we do is we put the tissue in Zamboni's fixative and we leave it there overnight. The next day, we'll transfer that specimen into cryoprotectant. And here's how we do it. This is after it sat in the fixative overnight, usually refrigerated if possible. We pour off that Zamboni's fixative, but being careful to leave the skin in the vial. Best to do this in a dish. If you do it in a sink, there's always a chance of losing the specimen, which we don't want to do. After we pour off the Zamboni's fixative, we'll pick up the vial label number 2, which is the phosphate buffer, and we'll pour in phosphate buffer. Now we'll pour out the phosphate buffer and do this a second time. And in doing this, we're bathing the tissue and removing the Zamboni's fixative. After we take out the phosphate buffer, we'll open a third vial, and this third vial contains cryoprotectant. And we'll fill the original vial full of cryoprotectant. At this point, put the lid back on and fasten it tightly. Now this tissue is good to go for about a week and maybe even 2 weeks. Certainly now we can compensate for any delays in shipping and take away any chance of destroying the specimen.